I'm not sure how fast I can talk. In previous knife rounds, we've seen these guys just fall apart on the spot, but it does look as though this knife round will go at least 4 or 5 seconds past the starting round. They've moved their way out of the warehouse into the open air. It is the bowling strat. It is a strike. They've all fallen down, and Aiden take a bow. I believe he was the lucky bowler in that instance. I think previously we'd seen Burn, no, it might have even been Break take on that role, and we saw his ability to turn the ball, had a bit of spin on it. It was Mirage, actually. Used the contours of the map really well. In this case, Keish, quite flat. Aiden, straight down the middle.
Straight down the middle. No gutter balls here. Just strikes left, right, and centre. Now, that means Trident will start on the T side, but they are not afraid of letting teams have their preferred side, are they?
Well, no, they're quite open about that. I think we've just seen for good reason the fact that they're willing to almost throw away these knife rounds in that they don't see that they've really got a strength either side. They almost prefer to almost take it on as a challenge and start on whichever side it might be and then just accept that as the matchup for the night instead of worrying with the little niceties about which side to start on. Certainly from my experience, that's a very unique approach. I think they're probably the only team in Australia, and you can tell by the reaction they've got around the world, the only team in the world, I think, that would have that sort of mentality. But if it works for them, who am I to second guess it? But we will see Trident starting out on the CT.
Yeah, ignore the scoreboard there. The scoreboard doesn't have it quite right. Legacy are not on CT side at all. So just look at the scoreboard for your score updates here rather than what's up top. But we do see Legacy take themselves towards that B site nice and early on. That bomb is going to go straight in. All 5 members are there, and they're just going to execute on this B site. As that Molotov comes in on the fly, it does limit as to where Burn can go. He only gets 1 frag for his troubles there, and they do get the 2 entries into that site. So that bomb will go down, and that's rotation will need to come from Trident as they are going to retake this site. Now, no early picks happening just of yet. Break, though, is going to make his way through the B main there and catch Mizu off guard as he does manage to make that frag there. And now the pressure's coming in from all sorts as Moku takes his burst fire straight onto Aiden Hu. And Buster does take out the lurk from behind. Now it's all to do for Yellow here. He makes his way through the smoke, but Moku shows us that burst fire is still a great means of making frags.
Yeah, definitely. Despite the randomness, I mean, picking up 3 frags, great round by Moku. I think that round was probably a great sign of what's to come for Legacy. Very aggressive, moving as a pack. I mean, the obvious reference there is the Animal Pack. Obviously, these guys were known as Animal Squad beforehand, but that's a pun they throw around themselves. But I'd be very inclined to expect that we'll see a similar sort of approach, trying to combat Trident's strategic gameplay by shock and awe. We can see they are on the anti-eco now, though. So interesting for me to see that they've actually invested in 3 heavy rifles. There's 2 AKs and a Galil, so very wary of the force buy in the right speed, because you can see 2 scouts in the hands of Trident. So I like this read by by Legacy. I got trolled by the top scoreboard there. That's never good. But I like this read. They are now moving on to the A site, so they'll try and lay down some smokes to perhaps block off the vision from 1 or 2 of the sniper rifles. Break there, holding at the truck. We'll get a glimpse, but we'll fall back under the pressure there. They have found their way into Age, and it will be the bomb getting planted.
And this appears to be a full save from Trident nice and early. They're just going to back off, let them have the site, and let the plant go through. They're going to try and take their weapons into the next round, which is not a bad strategy at all, given that some of them don't have armor there, as often who does take a scout to the leg, and he will simply be forced to fall back. And no frags coming out this round, I think.
No, I like it, though. I like the decision here by Legacy. I think a less disciplined team would have pushed truck there and would have pushed CT hunting for some frags, keen for some more economy, and I guess the confidence that fragging does bring with it. But Legacy, apart from that sole kill from Buster there at the end at the B side, recognised that they got into the site so easily that there was clearly a strong defence waiting elsewhere on the map. So they backed off where they came from, a territory that they knew was already safe and clear, and as a result, really no financial damage on their side to speak of.
Yeah, not too sure as to whether or not Buster managed to catch him off guard there and whatnot, but Yellow does fall, and I believe there is a pause coming in. I'm not too sure on the nature of the pause, though.
I do. I think they're just trying to fix the names at the top for us.
Okay.
Not just for us, for all the spectators at home, which will just make it easier for everyone involved. Of course, we're just talking about the fact that Legacy is currently shown on the CT side at the very top of the screen, but of course we do know that Trident are on the CT side. I think now, though, if I'm Legacy and I know that Team Trident have just opted to save completely. I mean, we're talking about the fact that Legacy didn't chase at the end of the round. There's obviously the other side of the coin, which is Trident not going for any kills. That's a direct clear indication to me if I'm Legacy that Trident had bought guns that round. I think they'll be very switched on to that point. So I'd expect them to be very cautious again this round. If they can find an opening, I think all 5 members will quickly bust onto the site, much like last round.
Yeah, they do know that they do have scouts in their possession, as Ofnu was tagged by one. So that is very clear to them. Now, they are heading straight towards A with a lot of tenacity as they are straight into A main. But they're not rushing straight into the site per se. They are just taking a little bit slower. Not as you predicted their PK, but either way, they're going to try and work things out a little bit slower and just try and rat out any CTs they find that are pushed up a little bit too far, as Ofnu does find his way into B there, does pick up Burn. Burn was not aware of that at all, and now the rotations are coming through. Buster does take on him mid there. He does get that frag as well. Now Ofnu is pushed right through that smoke into CT there. Does pick up the frag, but Aiden Who does pick up a frag also with that scout. Now he's been tagged quite heavily. He also does have armor with that scout, so he has been dropped there by Moku. Moku unrelentingly chasing him as well before he could do any more damage with that scout.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, it was probably good in the sense that the scout's out of his hands, so it's going to eliminate one question in terms of what gun will he use this round. It's always you're always feeling a bit off guard if you move into the first gun round with a scout. He will now purchase a rifle, so he's probably feeling a little bit more comfortable in that regard. Something to look out for is we do see Trident going for a 2-1-2 split, is that during previous matches last week, they were very rigid in their defense. I'll be looking to see if they mix it up at all tonight.
Yeah, and they are just setting themselves up in this A main for that flash to come through. Now, Moka wasn't expecting it there, but he's managed to make his way straight through and get a frag onto the site regardless. Now, they do have control of this A site. Both members defending have been eliminated. That bomb plant will come in, and Trident, depending on whether they can get a pick or not, nice and early, may not go for this. They are just backing off a little bit. In fact, again, that call has been made to save, as you see all 3 remaining members of Trident just flee the scene.
It's going to be interesting, isn't it? Because if they do potentially survive, they are now camped out at B. If we look at the scoreboard, we're going to see 3 of those players with 2 deaths in only 4 rounds. That's a 50% survival rate, but given the fact that they've lost every round, a 50% save rate. We can see Ofnu here pushing through, but I really liked what we saw from Legacy. To be expected, moving very quickly. Good use of the flashes to get onto the A site. Can they get these last couple of frags though now, which will really inflict a lot of damage? And they do. Raz with 1, Moku with 2 at the end there as well. So all 3 members of Trident there who are camped out in B do eventually fall at the end. So everything just going Legacy's way at the moment. They'll be really pleased with this start.
Yeah. Disappointing to see them lose those guns, because that means their economic situation dictates that they have to save in this round. They have only gone for a few pistols here and there, but largely on eco, as they have just distributed themselves normally across the site. Lonsdale does pick up a frag nice and early, but Raz does get a trade on to Burn in that checker room. Now they are just setting those smokes onto B, and that bomb will make its way in ever so slowly, but it is getting there. Nonetheless, they're very cautious of Lonsdale lurking up in that heaven there, as he does pick out Moku there in to save his teammate quite well, and Trident are now just being picked apart. Break and Yellow will try and get some guns here, as they are just simply being picked and pulled apart. Now, they do know where Yellow is. His time is limited. He is going to try and make a little bit of a getaway if he can, but Trident are going to try and do some damage here with Yellow in this deagle.
They will pick him off. They are very switched on at the moment, though. Something subtle at the end, which I really liked from what I saw from them. We could see them going for that boost into the vent. They recognised that Aiden, who had actually recovered an AK, I think off the back of that one deed from Lonsdale in mid very early on in the round, and Aiden had taken that gun to vents, had been dropped, unfortunate for his sake, but Legacy they're boosting just to get out of the vents, not knowing where Yellow was, just wanting to remove that potential for that gun recovery completely. But it's a sign to me that they're really switched on. We are moving to the next gun round here, but look, they have changed it up on the Trident side. We can see the double AWP. Break picking up an AWP. Now, he's not renowned for being an AWPer, but renowned for being a versatile player, so it wouldn't surprise me if he does certainly pack a punch with the AWP. And we do see him tag Mizu there at the back of the A main area, so nice early spot. A lot of information that will make Mizu quite tentative without necessarily getting that frag in the end for the man.
Yeah, they are going to set themselves here in A, as we see 2 of them in that door, as Break narrowly misses the spam there. Does actually tag Moku through the door as well. That Molotov will stem their flow into their site, but they are going to make their way in as Yellow cleans up, but unfortunately traded quite quickly there. Now, Legacy trading their way onto his site quite well, and I guess Trident are now actually going to go for this retake here. They do manage to pick up Raz through the smoke, and Mizu is very, very low, having been tagged early in the round. They do know his position. He does get taken out there as well, and a lot to do in the door here for Buster. That bomb isn't exactly planned for him here, as he does take on Lonsdale. Will need to step here, as he does step a little bit too late. Does the damage getting the frag there. The bomb had been defused already, though. The damage had been done, but not bad work there, getting that extra frag and putting a lot more economic pressure on Trident.
Yeah, that was actually a lot closer than it looked, because I thought for a moment he was actually going to succeed in getting the diffuser off the bomb. When the diffuser stood up, he was still diffusing at the time, but with the pressure that he was applying, I thought he might have actually got that second man off the bomb, so could have easily gone Buster's way, but like I said, good work getting that frag. We can see Legacy, though, affording to buy this round off the back of those strong first 5 rounds in the match. Again, though, they're showing that tendency on the gun rounds to head towards A. They do look as though they've got perhaps a set smoke or two, because they will throw one over the wall, and this often converts the in-game leader there with that entry frag, showing how versatile he can be with his role. It will potentially open up the ace site. I like the use of the smokes here by trying to stall, and Yellow will get a double frag there. Can he get the third? Not quite, as Buster does get the trade, and oh, a crisp little headshot there from Mizu as well. Will just secure a bomb plant here, and I guess potentially put Legacy on the verge of getting another round here. Raz, we said, is the T-side AWPer, and showing just why. He drops down Lonsdale, and as Mizu converts the final frag, it will be Legacy establishing their dominance once again, and it's just not looking really promising here for Trident. Their money's been reset completely, and all of a sudden they're back on the back foot.
And Moku doing the damage there on the scoreboard. If we look at his contribution as well, it's double his teammates, but they're working well as a unit. They are just getting onto those sites quite easily. They're trading quite well when it comes down to it, and that's why they are ahead here. 6-1 to Legacy. Ignore the scoreboard for the moment, as we do see a boost come in. Moku's been put on point up there on that boost. He does have the UMP. Does get spotted by Aiden, who and does ensure a little bit of a battle there. Aiden just tagging Moku down to 18, and Moku now will just have to play the rest of the round a little bit cautiously.
Yeah, of course, try to beat on Eco here. You would expect that Legacy should be able to find the holes in their defense, but I can't speak more highly of Moku as a player. Of course, he used to go under the alias APOC back in his earlier days of playing Counter-Strike, but he's filled so many roles in so many teams. He's travelled overseas under, I think, 3 separate trips overseas in 1.6. He's been an entry fragger, a lurker, an in-game leader. He's ticked off every box here, as we do see Buster open up the B side. This man is versatile, and there's a reason he's still playing the top tier of Australian Counter-Strike today. It's because he's that good of a player and can do anything in this game. He's really, perhaps not the entry fragger or the star he once was, but he's the rock of this team.
Yeah, Break just doing some damage with that Deagle. We saw him get a few frags against Chiefs that were pivotal in their Inferno, and he's up to his old tricks again with that Deagle in B main, as he now has an AK, and will try and, I guess, do a little bit of damage with that and try and save it if he can't, as he does come face to face with Mizu there. And now they're just going to make their way out of that site and try and save the guns that they have collected. Obviously, Yellow with the UMP and Break with the AK there. Not a bad round from Trident, but they are just falling further behind on the scoreboard. Perhaps not a bad time for a tactical pause.
Yeah, I'm not sure. I think probably maybe save it another round or two. I mean, they probably had, I think this is probably their 3rd or 4th gun round now? I think 4th, technically, given the fact that they had won a previous gun round which extended that run. So their 4th gun round, I'd probably hold off a little bit longer yet, but definitely the warning signs are out there. We do know that Trident do favour themselves on the T side of the 2. We do know that this is actually their favourite map. Now, the recent results wouldn't suggest that, but if Break can keep up getting a few frags like that, he had the potential for more there, but what he'll have to do is he does fall in the end at the hands of Mizu. We can see them moving onto the A site, though. Good use of utility. It will block off Yellow's vision, so he's had to check lots of angles here. He drops one at the forklift, but as Buster jumps on top of the box, he will get his second for the round, and once again, Trident on the back foot, off through there, retreating to cover their backs, and will get another headshot. So all of a sudden, it's left up to Lonsdale, and he's already shouldering a lot of responsibilities as the in-game leader, but now he's going to have to go 1 versus 3, and he can't do that as often as ever where he does take him down at the electrical box, and it will be 8 rounds secured for Legacy and a half victory guaranteed.
Great work there. Break, starry-eyed surprise as he stepped into A main. They had 4 members of Legacy blind and in front of him, just couldn't quite do the deed there, and unfortunately that round could have gone much differently there, as Break somehow TKs himself. in the mid-con there. I'm not too sure what happened with him there. Perhaps pressing the wrong button. I'm not too sure that was not as but he does fall early in the round for some reason. Now,
yeah, honestly, I've got no idea what just happened. All I can think of is that he's accidentally just pressed the change team button and selected CT, thus dying on the spot. But in any case, it's instantly going to put his team at a disadvantage in what was otherwise a crucial round. They finally, after 2 ecos, been able to afford it. You can see the ease with which Legacy have been able to get into the A side off the back of one of their members dying, forcing a rotation towards mid to cover off from Drake's choke point. So the bomb will get planted. Surely they'll have to be questioning whether they even go for this retake. As it is, Moku's just getting couple of frags, just almost eliminating that possibility. Burn does get one from the truck here, down to a 3-on-2, but Raz, we've seen him frag a couple of times from that spot near forklift, provides a lot of cover and a lot of opportunities for a talented AWPer like himself to pick off the enemies.
Yeah, he's a very aggressive AWPer, and as we saw there, he's not afraid to jump out onto a choke point and show us his prowess with that scope. Now Lonsdale here, he's going to try and save his gun, doesn't have the HP to take that battle, and needed to land the first shot onto Mizu, and will subsequently lose his gun. Now Trident are on the back foot, as we see, because Break killed himself in that round. He doesn't actually get any lose bonus at all, so his money is static there, frozen in time from last round. Now that is going to force the eco here from Trident. They're just going to make a normal split onto the sites, and Legacy have recognised this, and they're just going to take things very slowly towards B. They're going to smoke themselves off, allow the easy passage into the checker room there, and just allow themselves a little bit of freedom with that hit. In fact, they're just going to charge straight through that smoke. No smokes anywhere else on the B side, but that doesn't matter because Buster, with his snail-like movement, is straight in there with the MAC-10, and that bomb will be planted in the back of the site there. Planted for the checkers, nice and easy. And they're just going hunting now. Moku with that P90 does pick up Lonsdale as well. And the hunt continues.
Well, that's right, and there's a reason we're talking, I guess, so calmly ourselves, and it's because Legacy are just making it look that easy. We do say it's nice and easy this round. Well, it's been like that the entire half for them. And I think this is the 4th match we've seen Trident play. I don't think we've seen a team or an opposition so far make it look that easy. And I know that when Legacy came back, they gave an interview. They've just recently done an interview with eFrag, of course, the Bulgarian organisation over from Europe. And they said that their motivation was once they've had that taste of that international experience, they were so keen to get back over there again. And this is their chance. Of course, the winner of Counterpit will get a trip to Croatia next year. So these guys, it's business as per usual. They are so focused right now. Raz there with a great AWP shot onto Aiden, who'd been saving for what felt like a lifetime for that rifle, only to have it demoralizingly drop out of his hands nearly instantly. Buster, key frag there onto Burn at the B sites. And again, they're just making it look so easy. It's hard to try and see, I guess, some shining light here for Team Trident. They are now going to have to fight off a battle at B site. Raz does drop yellow there, but crucially Trident able to find some frags at this site. Finally able to put up some resistance, but they're still at a man disadvantage. It's 3-on-2. One member there trapped in the B side, and as he gets taken down, Moku there opening up a clear pathway towards that B site. Good use of utility there will stop Break's vision at the B side, and as Moku does get that final frag with the P90. You cannot say this enough. This is Legacy making it look ever so easy.
Yeah, they are working well as a team. I think that was the biggest thing that they learnt overseas was the importance of teamwork, and it's really showing in this match. They are just stepping on the sites as pairs, trading where necessary, and it's really evident here on the scoreboard. I mean, it does say Trident's winning, but that's not the case. Legacy are ahead 11-1 here in the first half. As Offnu picks up yellow, pushing into A main, and his teammates are just trapped there at the forklift now. They are just going to try and get themselves out of this pickle that they found themselves in. In the meantime, Moku's found his way up the highway there into A, and now Trident again are on the back foot early in this round. As Aiden steps onto short there, does get a frag onto Buster, but Moku's finding replies all over the board. Break's doing his own work though. He's doing some excellent work on this flank, finding his way into the site. Moku though just dances through the smoke there as Raz finishes off Break, and what looked promising for Trident has unfortunately fallen apart once again.
Yeah, so I think I'm struggling to see the shining light here. If I was to throw any sort of, I don't know, little cherry out there that perhaps Trident to try and cling onto, it's that Legacy were quite open, and that when they were overseas recently and just beforehand as well, their biggest struggle was on the counter-terrorist side. I think having said that, a buffer of 12-1 at the moment is probably just going to be about covering it, I think, for them. But I'm just looking for anything that Trident could probably cling on to. But in reality, they're probably already starting to think about the second map. We can see Offner here. Again, the in-game leader turned entry fragger. Out mid at the moment. Already spotted one out in mid-con as well. They are on a force buy situation. They're desperate for rounds here. So unfortunately for the Trident's sake, it's meant they've got 2 Famouses and 3 pistols. We do know, though, how strong pistols can be in CSGO, of course. And I think Lonsdale and Burn trying to prove just that with a nice little shot. Hopefully that'll inspire him as he gets a crisp little 1 dig there into B-main. And the tables have turned at least for one round here. It's all left up to Moku in a 1-on-4 situation. Actually quite sneakily, nearly in CT Sport. I'm not sure if Break will be expecting it. He is eventually. I think perhaps that smoke there just outside the ZCOM was enough of a clue that something suspicious was happening. Good work by Trident. Happy to see them getting another round on the board. 12-2 in favour of Legacy.
Yeah, we know they favour their T sides, but look, they're going to need them to give themselves more room to work with. Otherwise, it could be curtains quite early, unfortunately. But Trident just making themselves believe a little bit more that this is possible, as we see Legacy just make their way into A main quite quickly there. Now Lonsdale's going to be on point with this. Orby does pick up one, but unfortunately doesn't get the double there. He does tag Buster enough for his teammate to get the easy team kill there, and so he did a lot of damage with that AWP frag nonetheless. But Trident now still have a lot to do in this round, with Legacy just building up on that A site.
I think it's probably fair, given the context of Buster's career, that he was team killed at one point in time. He is renowned within our community for actually TKing other people, so it's probably some due justice there. But as it is, we do see Trident now capitalising what has been a nice promising start to this round. We have seen them try and go aggressive on A-main a few times. One of the first times it's actually been successful for them. Break does spot out one there on the left side of A-main as well, so he'll be relaying that information onto his team. You can see that Aiden off the back of that call was clearly rotating towards Truck to try and offer some sort of assistance, but the downside here is that mid has been left completely open. They're not to know, of course, there are no members of Legacy there. They're all working their way onto A site. Break would get the first frag, Yellow with another as well, and all of a sudden it's mission impossible for Raz. He has got 2 though, and he's in the site, but with 25 seconds left and the bomb in the open, could be a challenge trying to recover it safely. He will step out. A Molotov has been thrown in towards the bomb planting spot, so he can't quite retreat, or else he'll be standing in flames. He knows where one is. Does drop Aiden there at Checkers. Well, I should say it's short there at the highway. Down to a 1-on-1 situation. He knows where the last member is. This was a 1-on-4, down to a 1-on-1. The bomb will get planted, committing to it with only 5 seconds left. Burn. Suspicious. He steps out and does make that key frag. So what looked to be a great clutch from Raz, unfortunately couldn't quite finish the job, but impressive first half from Legacy, you have to say.
Yeah, very impressive from Legacy, despite what the scoreboard says. Legacy are ahead 12-3 over Trident, with Trident's T side now to follow. So yeah, very impressive start. They looked the better team in the sense that they hit the sites with conviction. They traded quite well, and although Trident are quite well structured, the CT side really didn't measure up to the aggression and the sheer trading ability that Legacy is showing.
I know that Legacy in the past have previously spoken about some troubles that they've had in terms of being able to mentally switch on, particularly early on in competitions, or maybe at the first game of the night, those sorts of things, when they're, I guess, coming off a break. But that's not the case at all. We haven't seen any trace of that all tonight. These guys have come in and almost at the flick of a switch are bringing their A game. At least what's required of them to almost put away Trident. It's been really impressive to see, and I love that mental fortitude that these guys are showing at the moment. Perhaps they've matured a little bit from their experiences overseas, but really impressive the way they've just come in at full pace tonight.
Yeah, we do see Trident just take their time a little bit on this pistol round, as Break does tag Buster there in midcon down to within an inch of his life, 19 HP, and Buster won't be picking there anymore. Well, so we think, as he just plays a little bit of a dangerous game there with Break in the midcon. Now, we do normally see some sort of smoke execute from Trident there, as Lonsdale's trying to, I guess, make anyone in A think that he's picking up the bomb there in the door by dropping his Glock. I believe that would have been the intent there, making them think that the bomb is going towards A, when the bomb, in fact, is making its way out towards midcon there. Just a very slow approach.
Well, they are. You can see at the moment, off the back of Buster getting tagged down quite low, there's not much in the way of mid defense. At the sign of any sort of noise, as there is now, of course, as they are coming busting out into mid, Buster, how fitting, will fall back and choose a more defensive position. So it's allowing Trident to really push up. You can see Break here has got through the Z connector. They are now collapsing on the B site, through vents, through heaven, and oh, what a world of pain. Off-News in the middle of the site. He does manage to hit one, but surely it's not going to be enough. It's left Raz and Moku in a 2-on-4 situation. Raz, nice little headshot there, but definitely Trident in great positions here. I love Break at the top of heaven. Really gonna, I guess, catch Legacy off guard as it does just that. Moku does fall, and Raz left in a 1-on-3 situation. Nice little headshot there, though. Does manage to hit one, but all too difficult with the positions that Trident had set up. Nice little execute there onto mid. Off the back of that early damage that they'd inflicted onto Buster, really exploiting that late round.
Yeah, that was great read there from the team. Just, again, getting that split pick and great reactive calling there from Lonsdale. Just letting his teammates do the damage and communicate what they'd done and making a read based off that. A great little mid-con to B split.
If there is something I'd take away from this, though, if there are any other teams out there that are spectating, not just their competitors in Counterpit, but potentially competitors in our domestic scene, such as the Cybergamer Blaster X, which is currently being played, Trident have actually just run that pistol, I think. They've played this map 3 times already in Counterpit. They've run the same pistol round 3 times in a row. Now, I know that they've spoken to us previously, Lonsdale in particular, about trying to rework their gameplay to make them less predictable. We've just seen an instance where they've run the same pistol around 3 matches, or 3 matches in a row now. So definitely, if I was playing them in the future, I'd be watching their demos and expecting that perhaps they might be recycling a few strats. Perhaps Trident maybe need to rework a few of their things. But when it's working for them, why change it, I guess? But something to definitely be aware of. They're certainly tending to recycle their strats a bit.
Yeah, they are recycling them, but given in the last case game they played, they went into that set execute almost off the bat. I guess they are just making a read first before they go into a site. Now, in the meantime, action's going down left, right, and centre in that B main there. Break, just not aware that there was someone right next to him. In the meantime, Off-Move's able to pick one up into the B main, and they are making their way into this B site here. They need to cross, though. There was no smoke down. Yellow doesn't care anyway. He's just getting the jumping frags with that Mac 10. Should I say, as Break finds another one himself, and all too quickly, Moku is in a 4v1 situation. He does have armor here, so if they're not careful, they could be on the receiving end of the Moku special. Now, he does pick up 2 early frags, nice and early here, and will be smoked off, so he will need to back off now. This round is probably going to go back towards Trident's way, unless he can find a quick frag here. They are not aware of his situation. His HP is quite good until that little Mac 10 did a lot of damage there, and he's just going to back off now, save his armor 5-7 and Mac 10, and take it towards the next round where it could be a very real threat for Trident.
Look at the difference, though, even when you just compare the pure eco rounds. I mean, you can see the pressure that Legacy are applying, even when they are losing rounds. They did get 3 frags then. Break was so close to death as well, surviving with 7 health points in the end. So nearly a 4th frag, and it's just not giving Trident any room to breathe. Even on rounds that they're winning, they're still difficult wins. We will see now Moku sharing the wealth. He has dropped that Mac 10 towards Mizu, relying on the 5-7, which of course he had previously purchased. So that's almost 2 weapons of strength. What can they do with them?
That will be the question. Now, Trident have made their way towards the A main. Through the door, they're sitting 3 through that squeaky door. Offnu there, just sitting in the NBK, is pounced on by Yellow with that Mac 10. And Lonsdale does have some great information, knowing that there are at least 2 in the checkers there, trying to boost into that vent. Now, that bomb has been planted at A, and Lonsdale is just unrelenting with his Tech 9, charging straight through B main, where we will face his maker in Buster with that great snail-like movement, picking up the frag nice and early. Moku, though, is traded out by Burn in the Z-Con, as now Raz and Buster with only 5 HP. Going to try and do a little bit further damage here. Buster is picked up nice and early, and now Raz is showing us that he can be a bit of a hide-and-go-seek champion in that B site. Before he's found out by Burn, they do get that Mac 10 frag. That is money in the bank for these guys, and they're slowly starting to build their way back into this match. They're going to need a lot more in the gun rounds, I dare say, though.
I'm actually surprised here to see Raz picking up the AWP. I mean, definitely, all our pre-dam analysis centered around the fact that Buster is actually the CT side AWPer. For good reason, he is their CT side AWPer. I'm just wondering whether it's perhaps a financial decision, which has actually impacted the fact that Raz is the only one who can afford to AWP in this context, or maybe he's just feeling it tonight. But interested to see what sort of setup they play as a result. You can see here Legacy really intent on taking control of mid. They've got 3 members there, Motu, Buster, and Offnu, and they've laid down the early utility, which is essentially put up a wall in mid, and they're now just establishing themselves against any late round aggression which might come their way in mid. At the moment, though, I like this approach from them because it's going to allow them to easily rotate between both sides very quickly. They do have a good early read onto B as well with the positioning that Raz has set up there with the AWP. So that will allow for quick B rotation should need be. Trident though, they're very wary. You can see them playing very, very defensively and split up, which is definitely the approach we come to expect from them.
Yeah, they are just taking their time here. Lonsdale loves this squeaky door, and he does like to sell a distraction for his team quite often. So if he's not working in unison with that man in A main, he's often just selling something on his own here. As now Trident going to have to make their mind up soon about what they're doing, as there are only 30 seconds now left on the board. As we see Break fall early to Raz with that AWP in B main, and smoke there just gives him a little bit of cover. Does pick up a nice, easy second frag there onto Yellow, using that smoke to great effect. And Offnu now finds a double with that Famis. Not quite the triple, though. As now a lonely figure in Lonsdale gets that plant for his team. Will be pounced upon quite quickly here, as he does get traded by Moku. And another easy round there for Legacy, nonetheless. Great work from Offnu there. I didn't expect him to get two. Just that lining up for him there, the stars aligning as the Famis does the work for him.
Yeah, his eyes certainly would have lit up. He stepped around the corner and saw two Ts with, I guess, not quite their wits about them. They were caught off guard a little bit there. I think the poor second terrorist was unlucky in that he did line up perfectly and never really had a chance to retaliate. But great work from Legacy. I liked their setup, and I liked the aggression that they took, especially early on in mid, just shutting down Trident's opportunities, and then really setting themselves up well for those late round rotations. We can see Trident though, they can afford to buy off the back of a lot of SMG kills in those anti-eco rounds, which certainly bolster the economy, and it does look like they're going for a fast A execute here. You can see the flashes and smokes coming over, but they're not enough to stop the A defense that is Legacy. Mizu, Moku, and Buster all chiming in with a frag apiece, and how quickly was that attack really shut down where it once stood. All 5 members have now fallen over. That's almost the fastest shutdown of an A execute I think we've seen so far this season. Great work by Legacy, just really exploiting the holes in those smokes, and really effective teamwork just allowed them all to chime in. Every player playing a role in that defense.
Yeah, those smokes were set for a team that would be playing a little bit more defensive in that A site. So look, obviously not getting a great read on what Legacy were doing, playing close in that site, and the smokes were just no effect really. As now Offnu shows some aggression into that B main, as he does step on Yellow nice and early. He does have a lot of information with that push, as his teammate Moku continues onto the T spawn area. Now they are aware that the game is up here at A, but Break, in the meantime, is just making a nuisance of himself, making that rotation very difficult for the two B members, as A, in the meantime, is being shut down by Buster there as short. 2 frags to the good, as now Break is going to have to make something happen here for his team. Does pick up a frag onto Buster there at short, and now things are just going to slow down for Trident. Break and Aiden are going to have to work together to make something happen.
That's right, you can see at the moment they are near A main here. Now I'm curious to see whether they decide to split up or keep both their forces together. We do see Aiden there throwing the bomb towards Break now. Not quite sure the motivation there, perhaps wanting to keep it close to the A site whilst he falls back and perhaps goes on a bit of a reconnaissance mission, but you can see how defensively and passively Legacy are set up in both of the A and B bomb sites. I think it was actually Offnu there we caught a glimpse of at the back of Checkers, a great little spot which should almost certainly catch them off guard if they do head towards that way. Whilst 2 players are in A. Now the only thing I'd say the downfall potentially for Legacy might be the rotation time here as they do move towards B. It's going to take a long time for the 2 members at A to track all the way across and provide any sort of support. So it's definitely up to Offnu here and Checkers. What can he do? He does catch one off guard but is taken down, but look at the damage he has inflicted onto Break. So whilst the bomb is planted, with 12 hit points to his name, he can't afford to be tagged even once. We can see both members moving through very quickly here, through the vents, through Checkers, into the B side, almost collapsing from 2 angles at once there as they do separate as they move into the B side. One going left, one going right. Mizu finishes the job there and throws a HE nade. Just because he can. We'll get that defused.
Just because he can.
That will be 15 rounds there for Legacy. I think that sets them up with 9 match points if my maths does serve me correctly, and that it does. Legacy on the virtue of securing the first map in this BO2 series.
Yeah, ignore the scoreboard because it is bugged, unfortunately, but Trident are very much behind in this match. So Trident are sitting only on 6 rounds, Legacy on 15, match point to play, and a lot of work here to do for Trident if they're going to keep themselves in this match, as they do send themselves up that boost quite quickly. Buster, though, does get a tag onto Burn, putting him on 16 HP only. In the meantime, Break has made his way out the middle there, and we'll need to get the frag here. He does get a crucial frag onto Buster there, and we'll continue to burst right through the vent there, getting another frag onto the B main, and that B site is wide open. In the meantime, Moku has great position, having pushed through, though, either way, and Trident now are being picked apart, but in the meantime, they are counter lurking quite well. Mizu, very aggressive, getting the bomb down once again, and now a 1v1 will ensue between Lonsdale and Mizu, who's just making his way around this map quite quickly, changing his position and trying to catch Lonsdale off guard.
That's right. You can see Mizu perhaps not quite expecting maybe the last known information and whereabouts of Lonsdale was an A, so you can see him trying to cover off in both the Squeaky Door, the A main, and the T warehouse. 3 spots to watch for one man, but Lonsdale equally just as unaware. You can see the bombs down there in the T warehouse and suspicious of where perhaps Mizu might be camping. They will spot eyes there, and Lonsdale with a nice little headshot closes out that round and averts the first match point, but with 4 members, 4 of his teammates going down there, it's trying to put them in a really precarious situation as they can afford rifles, but they're going to be very light on utility. We can see that whilst they got 5 smokes, I think there's only 3 members there that do have flashbangs and even HEs to back them up. Aiden having to deal with a CZ to afford that utility that we do speak of.
Nonetheless, though, Legacy are actually on a pistol round here, so they'll need to navigate against some Deagles there and some 5.7s, so a very dangerous round still nonetheless, particularly given their lack of utility as well, and they are just grouping up in that A main there as Aiden does some damage with that CZ, does pick up 2 nice early frags there, may pick up a 3rd here as well, does pick up Moku, and the CZ wasn't actually a bad option at all as Buster is now going to try and get some damage done with that Deagle, does pick up 1 very long distance headshot as well, but cannot get the 2nd, and now Offnu just making his way there. I'm not too sure if Lonsdale even saw him, but we'll take that frag anyway.
I saw him, Jim. I think it was just perhaps the Go TV relay, which made it look a little bit more epic than it was. But nice little headshot anyway. Nice little confidence booster for the man, the in-game leader, trying to gently caress and corral his teammates around the map to give them the best possible opportunity. But 7 match points left. I like this decision here from Legacy, recognising they've got plenty of rounds to spare. We can see them opting to eco again here. The conservative approach, but definitely the right approach. I think that Trident are going to be very, very careful and perhaps apprehensive of a force buy, but of course they're not to know that they're just up against pistols again. But I mean, we've already seen some of these players. They've got incredible pistols. Moku, I mean, the aim of that man alone can wreck a team with the 5.7, as we did see on some of the eco rounds. It's certainly going to be a tough opposition for them, but should be going Legacy, Trident's way, I should say. Should they play their cards right?
Should they play their cards right now? They just need to group up here as they're doing, but look at this rotation coming through from Legacy. As Offnu now is just pushing his way through B main. They are going to retake control in mid there. They do have 2 men sitting inside the site there as Burn is well aware of what potentially may be sitting behind the stack there. Now, Miss's position is really obvious to the rest of the team. They are streaming into that site. Does pick up 1 frag with that P250. Looking for a 2nd. Not able to do so. And Aiden Hu steps around that forklift quite easily, picking up Buster, Moku, and Offnu. Going to need to string something together here. Perhaps try and get some guns, because the more damage they can do, they are playing the longer game here. The more damage they can do will just, I guess, eventually strangle Trident. Yellow just backs off a little bit there. Moku, though, picks up Lonsdale, trying to help his teammate out. And they are just being really aggressive here. Trident, though, made the call. They're going to back off through CT spawn. They're going to avoid any further confrontation and try and save these guns.
I know that Aiden still is obviously going to save his rifle in this instance, an AK-47, but something I would really like to see as we do move into the back end of this match, Aiden, I don't think you'll find the member below him. No, he certainly won't. I'd like to see Aiden perhaps dishing off that rifle to one of his teammates. Of course, we can see he hasn't done so, and picking up an AWP. I think his AWP against Buster and mid is a really favourable matchup for Team Trident. We did see that Buster, after that first gun round did expire, he did pick it up. He can't afford it this round, or at least he saved an AK, so there's no need. But I think Aiden locking down mid with an AWP is a really favourable and advantageous matchup for Trident.
Yeah, he won't go toe-to-toe with the aggression of Raz, as somehow Lonsdale makes his way out mid past 2 CTs. I don't know if he knows the damage he could do from this situation. He does pick up 1 frag. Offnu finds the 2nd there. Perhaps just surprised that someone was able to get out mid and under all that confusion, as they are going to take this A site quite quickly. Offnu picks up a frag there from Highway and does a little bit of damage doing so, but position has been known now. He is getting into their side. He does pick up another frag there. Crucial frag onto yellow in that A main. And the second for his trouble. And a lot to do. Aiden has to keep his team in this game as he does pick up one from that quad. Goes 1-1 here. It does come up clutch for his team. Great work from Aiden there. And now, more importantly, does have that AWP in his hand.
Has the AWP. They finally got to double digits. And of course, they're on a forced legacy to eco again. This is what we've seen with Trident, isn't it, in their previous matchups? Of course, they played 3 matches last week, and that we really saw glimpses of when they could match it with the best. We saw them taking rounds of Immunity, Chiefs, Vox in small little stints. Obviously, the scoreline didn't reflect as well for them in that match, but we've seen that they've got this potential. It's just a matter for these young talent and young group of guys, if they can harness that across all, I guess, 16 or 30 rounds in the match, however it does go. We can see Aiden will get boosted here, and you can see the sniper rifle in the hands of Buster there. Buster will step out, and that's all the skin Aiden needs to take him down. We spoke about that favourable matchup, even more so when Buster's holding a scout in his hands. Of course, unless it's shot in the head, it will be 2 shots normally to finish the job. They will now slowly make towards A, where they have had some success in previous rounds. There's 3 pistols there and a scout in the hands of Moku, who did recover that weapon off Buster, but crucially 3 CTs lying in wait, so perhaps the numbers still supporting Team Legacy if they do head towards A.
Yeah, they do have pistols. This could be really dangerous if Trident are too, I guess, reckless in their approach to the site. Aiden does miss a shot there, but Burn doesn't, backing up his teammate quite well. Moku, though, as his scout, is under pressure here from Burn. Does pick up a second frag as well. Great work from Moku, getting a second frag under pressure there. Raz does some damage with that deagle. And now, Yellow is way away from his teammate here, Aiden, in the site, and that bomb is down. They've only got 10 seconds to do it, so this could be mission impossible, potentially, as Moku picks up the frag here. Yellow is just going to be too far away to do much for his team, as he does need to find this man here. Unfortunately, I think this will be the timer running out. An unfortunate way to go for Trident there, but Legacy making it work in that site.
Yeah, like we said, I mean, they only had 1 scout and pistols across the rest of the board, but crucially getting that frag onto Aiden, which dropped the bomb, and with 10 seconds left, yellow and mid had to go for both frags. I think in the end, he was almost within touching distance. You can see that, I think it was Offnu was just hiding behind that final box there. I think if he had an extra 1 second or 1.5 seconds, I think yellow might have been able to get around there and seal the deal. But as it was, really impressive showing by the Legacy. They certainly led from the front for almost all of that match. I think they might have even won the pistol. Yes, they even led from the front the entire match, but made it look really, really easy and comfortable for the guys, despite what the end scoreline might represent. It certainly looked a lot easier than the score made it look.
Yeah, 100%. Now, the next map will be Mirage, which is actually Trident's pick. Now, that's going to be an interesting matchup. We've seen Trident before on Mirage, and they've done some damage to many teams, actually. They did a lot of damage to Team Immunity. I think they picked up 12 rounds. And,
13, I think.
13 perhaps. I think it might have been only 12, but look, memory fails me. There are plenty of matches in this Counterpit League. Either way, they took it to one of the #1 seeds on this map, so obviously do back themselves, and it'll be very interesting to see how Legacy adjust.
Well, we've said before, and I will state for the record, Jim, 13, mate. 13. I'm willing to go out there and do 13, but we have stated in the past that one of the reasons they love this map is because it's a very strategic map in the sense that it definitely bodes well for teams that have set smokes and executes onto sites, which certainly Team try to tick off all those boxes. They definitely love to, I guess, incorporate every trick smoke and nifty little flash bang they can into their gameplay. They're very, very efficient at not just taking A with set executes, but also in terms of gaining map control in mid. I've spoken before about how they love to smoke off mid connector and short, and allow players like Burn and Break to get into the mid window and the vent room just next to mid. And it just gives them so much map territory and options as we get into the mid to late round situations that it can really disrupt a lot of teams' defense. It forces teams to play very defensive and deep in both sites. Now, the downside there is that the rotation times between sites is very, very long and far in between.